Hi, and today we're looking at another approach to the problem of verticals and horizontals correction in our image. And in a previous video, we looked at the approach to this using transformations, and we did a global transformation on the image, and then we looked at ways to actually make selections and transform those. And this gave us quite a sort of detailed level of control, although it did, it raised some problems and issues. And I thought what I should do is also discuss another approach to this, which is might initially appear to be quite a bit simpler and quicker. And this is using Photoshop's lens correction filter. So I thought we would take a look at this and just sort of compare and contrast the two approaches. Here's my image again. This is the same image that we used in the previous video, which is, as you can see, carefully chosen to have pretty terrible problem with skewed verticals and horizontals. And in this approach, I would just make a copy layer, and then I would go filter, lens correction. And this filter, broadly speaking, gives you two approaches. There's the auto correction, which is sort of aptly named. It's, Photoshop will sort of do its best to fix what it thinks are problems with the image. You can also load a lens profile, which in theory at least will make it more accurate. And the alternative, which we're going to use now, is the custom tab. And here we have, there's a slider which will promises to remove geometric distortion. Although I find this is a bit heavy-handed. And I find it difficult to get anything particularly useful from that. More useful, if we look down, we will find the transform section, which allows us to transform vertical or horizontal perspective. And I guess you could say this is kind of like sort of automatic version of the transformations that we were doing manually before. So if I move my vertical perspective slider, it's allowing me to straighten this. What I'm really looking at here is the edge of this sort of window casement. I want to straighten that out. And it will let me do that quite easily and effectively. Perhaps something like that. But I still have this problem with my horizontal perspective. So I can address that by moving my horizontal perspective slider to say about there. And I think that has done a pretty good job. Of fixing my problems. The only issue I have is that, as you can see, because I didn't really have, in this image, I don't have sufficient air around the subject to play with. So what's happened is that my transformation has chopped her toes off, and that might be okay for you, or it might be a deal breaker. So when we're and we discussed this in the previous video, when you're looking at doing these sort of transformations, whichever method you prefer, it's a good idea to just maybe base your image selection on how much, if you like, how much space you've got to play with around the subject. Because in this case, we've done our transformation, which appears to have reasonably successfully fixed the vertical horizontal problem, but we've lost some of our image, and that may not be acceptable. I have another image here which I've chosen simply because this image, which is from the same setup, is giving me considerably more space around the model's feet, so that if I attempt to do the same thing with this image, go into my lens correction and select my custom correction again. Now with this one, I should be able to I don't have quite so much of a horizontal problem with this image actually as in the other one, but I've got the same problem with the verticals. I don't think I probably don't really need to adjust the horizontal perspective on this one. Certainly not by very much. And so all I'm trying to show you is that with this image, I'll just run the filter now. If I switch that off, you can see the original, and there's the filtered image. In the case of this image, I do not have the same problem which I had here, where the transformation has caused me to lose part of the subject which I might not want to lose. So really, it's just to say, shot selection, if you've got vertical horizontal problems and you'd like to fix them, it may pay you to just think a little bit about the shot selection and try to go with an image which has got sufficient air around the subject, such that you can do your transformation without losing a part of your image. And so there we are. That's it. Just another way of looking at fixing verticals and horizontals, which may in some cases be easier and quicker than the manual transformation approach which we looked at before. Okay, so thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you soon on the next video.